So they build a little tin can and they put it on a rocket and they blast it up to some blackness of darkness where there's no birds, no air, no water, no food, no life. And they start building it up piece by piece, sending rockets, or actually the shuttle, sending the shuttle up piece by piece. Solar arrays, the Canadarm, all these modules and laboratories, they call them. It's a deception. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying we all, NASA included, and everybody working at NASA and SpaceX and every space agency that exists are being deceived. They aren't the deceivers. They're being deceived. The people in this world who are bearing witness to a specific truth that they did not see just 5 or 6 years ago have uncovered something, and it should be looked at very carefully. For the past almost 20 years, in reality, we have had a wandering star, or you could call it the space station. But from the ground, we witness for 20 years now a wandering star over the earth that is on a specific, precise schedule. And you can go outside and look up in the sky at the right time, and you can watch it fly over your head. 20 years we've had that. And before that, we didn't have that. They say they went to the moon. That's a whole different story. But going to the moon and all of these space endeavors has come to this point. Here's where we are now in 2019, where we have a world full of people that believes that there is a man-made machine up in heaven. Because if we go back to square one, what we know is that there's the Word of God. Some of us don't believe that, some of us do believe that. But in the Word of God, at the end of days, there was an eighth wandering star in the heavens. And there used to be only 7. I'll explain what I mean. Enoch was shown this place, and he was shown the 7 planets or wandering stars, and it was explained to him that they were in a prison for the stars in the host of heaven, and that they would be there imprisoned till judgment, and that from there they would be deceiving and defiling mankind. And then in Revelation, John was shown a vision of what the world would be like at the end of days. And in his vision, an angel took him away in the spirit to a wilderness, which I believe is this blackness of darkness. And John did see the same 7 mountains, or wandering stars. Enoch called them mountains. John saw those same 7 mountains. But in John's vision at the end of days, there was an 8th mountain. And it was the beast that was deceiving the whole world. And the story keeps going. This beast was given his power from a dragon. The dragon gave the beast its power, seat, and great authority. SpaceX Dragon happens to resupply this International Space Station. Now, this is a Russian launch of a Soyuz rocket that we're watching right now. That is the only transportation for astronauts to travel up to this space station. In Revelation, the beast that John saw getting his strength and power from the dragon also had the feet of a bear. And if we look at this space station, the only way an astronaut can get to the space station is on a Russian Soyuz, because NASA has not put an astronaut in space since the shuttle was abruptly shut down. The shuttle program was retired in 2011. It's 2019, and an astronaut has not been put in space by NASA since 2011. That's 8 years. NASA has not had the capability to put an astronaut in space for 8 years. That should be something that people think about when NASA's getting $56 million each. So yes, the space station has the feet of a bear. Russia. In Isaiah 14, it says that Lucifer has it in his heart to ascend into heaven and to exalt his throne above the stars of God. So I say, Lucifer says in his heart, I will ascend into heaven. NASA says on their mission statement, we will ascend into heaven. On the screen right now is a shot from the ground of Dragon. And in Revelation 13, John saw a beast coming up out of the earth. What's on the screen right now? And he saw this same beast making fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That couldn't be landing rockets, could it? In Revelation 7, John saw an angel saying to 4 other angels that were holding back the 4 winds of heaven to not let loose the winds until the servants of God get sealed in their foreheads. What are the 4 winds of heaven? Well, Enoch saw the treasuries of the winds. And what the 4 winds of heaven are the pillars of heaven. They hold up the heavens. They bear the heaven and the firmament of heaven. The 4 winds. In Revelation 12, John saw war in heaven. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. In Revelation 12, John sees Satan, who he calls the dragon, fighting with Michael and his angels. Just think about that. There were 4 angels holding back the 4 winds of heaven. And when they loosed those winds, It's going to hurt the earth and the tree and the seas and all of that. Is dragon on your screen here? Is this fighting the four winds of heaven, or the angels that are holding back the four winds of heaven? I think so. I'm trying to point out to you that you're watching it on your screen. This is war in heaven. John saw it already and wrote it down. Very specifically, he even gave us the name that Satan would be using. Dragon. The four winds of heaven. So then Enoch saw what happened because of this. In Enoch chapter 57. Enoch chapter 57. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons, and men riding thereon, and coming on the winds from the east, and from the west to the south. And the noise from their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were removed from their place. And the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. There really isn't too much left to say. We're watching it happen. Right now on the screen, there is video from inside one of the fairings simply falling back to Earth. So it's just falling. This is the air that's making that plasma and those sparks. This is just one fairing half. There's the parachute. Here is stage separation of a Falcon Heavy, and that is the war in heaven we're watching with our eyes. Revelation 17 verse 16 says, And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Isaiah 5 verse 14 says, Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. Isaiah 14 verse 9 says, Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. So if this space station potentially was the beast, and we see dragon on the screen going up to give it its power, and then now we're going to see it coming back down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, that would be Revelation 13 verse 13. If the space station was the beast, are you worshiping it? Do you believe in it? Do you wonder at it? Revelation 17 verse 8. They that dwell on the earth shall wonder when they behold the beast. If this is the beast that we have built over the last 20 years, being deceived by these evil spirits in the sky, the planets, and the fallen angels up in the bottomless pit, could this be the mystery of God being revealed?